Yo, what's up guys? Say Chronicle here, talking about a topic of a question that I've seen a bunch of times already. New game, you can pay some stuff in this game, it's a gacha game, but how pay to win is it? Can I play this as free to play? Let's answer those questions here today. So first of all, in this game you can right away see if someone is free to play, and that is visible over here. If it says first purchase, I think maybe it's first purchase of this year, I'm not sure. That's actually too bad, because I thought first purchase is just first purchase overall. So it's first purchase resets every year, I guess. Okay. Doesn't matter all too much, but here it's kind of showing like, okay, I didn't buy anything. Then the big question is, do I get behind quite a lot compared to other people because of that? I haven't really played all too much in Arena or any dungeons this week, so no ranking for that. But if we check, for example, we go to the Tower of Ascension Spires, which is one of the harder PvE content in the game. I'm currently on a rank 22 in this server, which I would say is pretty decent. So, and this goes like pretty far down if you would scroll all the way down. If we check for monster power, so that is the power of my monsters combined with the best set, I'm currently at rank 10. And for summoner power, I'm rank 34. So those three things actually show that free to play is pretty doable. And I spent nothing. Like, I didn't even buy like a €1 pack, like nothing at all. Another thing which is pretty interesting is the Hall of Fame. In the Hall of Fame, you have these things of like, okay, who's clearing the fastest on like the towers, who's clearing like the best in Arena, but also who's clearing the first raid when it is released. So we have a bunch of those. Now we have me. Yay! So I was actually the very first to clear the newest raid when it was released. Slight thing to mention with this, I cleared it with 2 other people and they don't show up here because I was the party lead. You show up as a party lead. So and then maybe they carried me kind of on like DPS. I kind of carried them on supporting. So in the end, we helped each other out. But yes, I got this thing and it will stay here forever in this server, on the NA server, which is pretty funny. But yes, free to play wise, I was able to get along quite well. Why is that? Because this game is an MMORPG. Things like investing your time or playing efficient are really high valued towards like progressing in this game. Of course, if I would spend a lot more, I would probably be higher than I am right now. Would you be number 1 without spending a single dime? Probably not, because the number 1 probably plays really efficient, plays a lot of hours, and then spends a lot of money. So yes, overcoming that is probably not that well doable. But getting along pretty well, just being free to play. As you can see, these numbers, rank 10 and that kind of stuff. Rank 13, I'm not really sure where the rank 13 is at. Probably just in the normal tower or something. Or maybe dark? Oh yeah, in dark I'm pretty high up as well. That's just getting lucky with specific dark units. I can actually probably clear this all the way to 90 if I would like to. But yeah, those kind of things, you get along pretty well. So what are the pay-to-win walls that you might walk into? Or let's look at the shop in general. What kind of things do you have? So you have a whole bunch of packs. Honest fact, you can will harder in this game than you can will in Summoners War Sky Arena. You can. There's more packs to buy than in Sky Arena. But do you necessarily need them? No, I think this game is both more free-to-play friendly than Sky Arena, but also if you want to will harder, it's also possible than what is in Sky Arena. Because Sky Arena, at some point, you kind of run out of packs. In here, it feels like you have a lot and a lot of packs. Really a lot of packs. As you can see, there's a whole bunch of stuff, like all kinds of summon packs, blah, 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 whatnot. A lot of these things I don't even think have that high of value. Like something that if you want to spend a little bit, things that have high values, for example, the Summoner Pass, you get like extra tickets to enter dungeons, which I'll talk about in a second, and you get like this specific unit. So this is probably the highest value pack you can get in the game, and it's $12 a month. So that's pretty doable. Arena pack is kind of okay-ish, but that adds on like double already. So also, I highly recommend you start playing this game free to play. Play it for quite a while. Maybe get like 1 or 2 of those small packs just maybe to slightly support the game. But don't go like heavy spending like in your first few weeks, months, probably even. Until you say like, hey, I enjoyed this game. I put quite some time in it. It is worth my money. Until then, don't spend. Simple as that. But yeah, if you want a heavy spend, there's a whole bunch of options. Does it mean that never click on this thing? No, there's actually a bunch of things which... there's actually a bunch of things within here that you actually buy by normal crystals. For example, back expansions, and there's a few of those things. You get those by crystals. What are crystals, you might ask? Well, crystals is the currency you get with pretty much every purchase, so I call it the pay-to-win currency. But then the question might be, okay, that's a pay-to-win currency, and you're paying these things. How can I get the red crystals then? Well, you actually get a lot, and really a lot from it early game by clearing all kinds of achievements, clearing the area dungeon gives you a lot. So throughout the first few weeks, you're probably not going to need anything. You're going to be like swimming in crystals. Doesn't mean you have to spend all your crystals like no tomorrow. Don't really recommend that as well, because at some point you're going to run out, and then you're like, okay, I don't have that many crystals. And crystals are very useful for a bunch of other things as well. For example, if you have your path of growth, I have 6 entries right now. The moment I'm out of 6, I can refill another 3 for 50 crystals, if I'm not mistaken. If I then on that same day want to do that again, it's 100 crystals, and then again, it is 200 crystals. I will make a separate video on that at some point, saying like, okay, how often is it worth to refill those crystals for which specific dungeons? Because that counts for pretty much everything. You can refill in Arena, you can refill in Expedition, you can refill in Kairos. That's a whole bunch of places you can refill, but there is a max of how much you can refill a day. In Sky Arena, you can literally go unlimited on your energy as long as you spend enough. In this game, that is not the case. There is a hard limit to it. Plus, the first refresh is like 3 times, 4 times, sometimes even 6 times cheaper than the second refresh. So therefore, it might be worth to say like, okay, I refresh everything once, but don't do it for the second time, and I'll save those crystals for tomorrow, for example. But then the big question, of course, where are you going to get these crystals if you run out of them and you do not have any of the achievements anymore? You cleared all of that kind of stuff. That will be the exchange center. And within the exchange center, you have this currency that's called Rahild. And Rahild is something you can sell for crystals. You can even sell it for gold, but I think the exchange on this is pretty bad. So rather just sell it for crystals, so we want the max amount, and you put this to a max amount, and you're going to sell that to another player. Other players can always buy this for 150, but the moment you put it in for 140, they're of course going to buy the one for you for 140. And then we can see it here that is listed as well. Then the question, of course, how do you get these Rahild tokens or whatever they are called? You can pretty much sell a lot of things in this game. So for example, we have certain equipment. We can list that in here that we got from dungeon raids. We try to sell that. Another thing that is very useful for selling, and a lot of people are mostly buying, are things like materials. And within materials, you can say like, okay, I've been fishing overnight, and I start listing all of these fishes that I fished overnight. And because of that, I can get my pay-to-win material. That is an option. There's also options to get other crafting materials. For example, let's say something that always sells pretty good on this because it's very useful. Going to give you a slight tip on that right away as well. Branches. Branches you need for so many things. You're just seeing like, okay, this price for that one. I'm going to undercut it by 5. I'm going to sell that, and that probably sells within like a few minutes, maybe half an hour. Once that is sold, I actually have some Rahild tokens, and I can actually buy crystals from that. That is how I got all of my crystals, like all the time. And with that, you can literally play free to play. Like, sure, you could have used those materials for yourself, progress a little bit faster. Yes. But hey, if you want your crystals and you want to progress that way, this is definitely your way to go. And with doing that, I actually still progress pretty fast. So in short answer, is this game free to play friendly? I would say so, yes. Would it take you quite some time? Yeah. But you are not limited to the amount of play hours, for example. So as I mentioned before, at some point your tickets that you can refresh, those are limited. But how many monsters I farm in the open world? Unlimited. How many times that I do certain gathering things, which I haven't talked about on this channel yet, but I will talk about later. When I talk more about professions, you can do that pretty much unlimited. Like you can go for mining like the whole day if you want to, and you actually get so much of these red crystals that you can do pretty much everything that a pay-to-win person also does. There are some factors in the game that a pay-to-win person has a bigger advantage on than you have, and that is, for example, the account level. And account level I didn't really talk about that much yet on the channel, or pretty much at all actually, but account level has a whole bunch of things which you can get like certain buffs for, either for like the monsters or for your summoner. This is not that easy to improve, and by pay to winning, pretty much every pack you buy has like a slide of that currency towards your account level. But is it a big issue if you're a lower account level than someone else? No, not really. But if you see someone with super high account level, yeah, well, that's 9 out of 10. Yeah, well. So as a free-to-play person, if you get above 50, you're already doing pretty good. And then the levels above 50 go pretty slow because there's certain ways that you actually get your account level a little bit faster, or there's certain ways that you get your account level, but I'll talk about that later. Another thing that a pay-to-win person probably has one up there on you is things like how many units can they make, or how many copies of a unit can they get. Yes, that's for pay-to-win. He gets more scrolls. He can do that easier. But in the end, I've noticed I pretty much used 3 units throughout pretty much all content. I literally needed 3 units and maybe a few units on the side here and there. But those 3 units pretty much cleared everything. So that is the case for someone that's pay to win. Like I played with a bunch of friends, and some of them, they made like pretty much every unit, but I still outdamage them because you can, in the end, only select 3 units, right? So the only issue that you have, or the only content that you might struggle with as free to play, is Brawl. Because in Brawl, it is very useful to have like a wider box of multiple units, and therefore you do better in that. But it just takes you a longer time to get on speed with like multiple units. But over time, you will get there. They will at some point have like 50 units. You will have 10. You can definitely compete. Currently, I have 3. They have 10. Yeah, okay, if they ban one of my units, if they pick one of my units, I'm having a problem. So somewhere down the line, when they have way too much units and they don't know what to choose, I have a few of them. They're highly good and optimized. I can definitely compete in this as well. And I think I got like rank 50 from the server in this as well. So even while free to playing. So can you play this game free to play? Short answer, definitely. Will some of the pay to wins have an advantage? Yes. But if you play more efficient and you play more hours, you will definitely beat the pay to win player. And I think that's a good combination in this game, that it's really rewarding for playing efficient. It's rewarding for playing a lot of hours. I always say like there's multiple currencies in life. Time is one of them. Money is one of them. If you can spend a lot of time, but not a lot of money, you will do good in this game. If you spend a lot of money, but not that much time, you can come by if you play efficient. Because the third currency in this game, I guess, is playing efficient. You spend a shit ton of money, but you don't use your resources well, you are not going to do that well. So guys, hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it answered your question. I hope that it also made your decision whether you want to play or not play, or see how much you want to spend. Once again, I recommend don't go heavy on the spending. Don't pull out the wallet within the first week, probably. Maybe for a small pack or something. But the first purchase is always the sneaky one. You start with one, and then there's another one, and another one. So keep that in mind. Small tips from me. Guys, thanks for watching. Like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. And see you in the next one.